Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. A man that truly loves you will bring peace into your life, not confusion. See, too many people today are accepting half love, fake attention, and temporary affection because they're scared to be alone. But let me tell you something. Loneliness is better than being lied to every single day. There's something painful about being with someone who only loves you when it's convenient for him. At first, you don't notice it because fake love is smooth. Fake love knows how to arrive with compliments, late-night phone calls, sweet messages, and promises that sound like dreams. He makes you feel special when he wants your attention, and in those moments, you believe you matter deeply to him. But over time, you begin to realize something doesn't feel right. The energy changes depending on what he needs from you. When he's lonely, he calls. When he's bored, he texts. When life gets hard for him, suddenly you become important again. But when you need reassurance, effort, or consistency, he disappears like smoke. That's the moment you have to understand the difference between genuine love and convenient affection. A man who truly loves you does not treat you like an option sitting on a shelf waiting to be picked up whenever he feels empty. Real love is consistent. Real love does not clock in and out depending on mood, timing, or personal benefit. When a person only shows interest when it fits comfortably into his schedule, he is not building a relationship. He is using access to you for emotional comfort, and many people stay trapped in these situations because they keep holding on to the good moments, hoping those moments represent the truth. But the truth is not found in temporary sweetness. The truth is found in consistency. You have to pay attention to patterns. Anybody can be amazing for one weekend. Anybody can act loving for a few hours. Anybody can say beautiful things under candlelight or during emotional conversations. But can he show up when it's inconvenient? That's the real question. Can he support you when he's tired? Can he call you when life is stressful? Can he prioritize your feelings when he's not getting exactly what he wants? Because real love reveals itself during comfortable moments, not just easy ones. A lot of people confuse attention with love. Just because someone gives you moments of affection does not mean they are emotionally invested in your well-being. Some people only return because they know you'll still be there. They know you answer the phone. They know you forgive quickly. They know you carry hope in your heart. And sadly, they take advantage of that kindness without giving the same level of commitment back. That kind of relationship drains your confidence slowly. You start questioning yourself. You wonder if you're asking for too much. You begin lowering your standards just to keep someone around who was never fully present to begin with. And the dangerous part is this. Convenient love creates emotional confusion. One day he acts deeply connected to you, and the next day he acts distant. One moment you feel chosen, the next moment you feel ignored. That emotional inconsistency keeps people attached because they keep chasing the return of the good version of them. But healthy love should not feel like emotional gambling. You should not have to guess when someone will care about you properly. When a man values you, you don't have to compete for his attention with excuses, temporary moods, or selfish priorities. A real relationship has effort even during difficult seasons. It has communication even during stressful times. It has consideration even when life becomes busy. Love that only appears when it's easy is not mature enough to build a future. Sometimes the hardest thing to accept is that someone may enjoy your presence without truly valuing your heart. They may like the comfort, the validation, the emotional support, or the attention you provide, but still not love you in a meaningful or selfless way. And once you recognize that, you must stop settling for temporary affection disguised as commitment. Because the right person will not love you only when it benefits him. The right person will choose you consistently, clearly, and intentionally. One of the clearest signs a man is faking love is when his words sound beautiful, but his actions tell a completely different story. Now listen carefully, because this is where many people get emotionally trapped. Words are powerful. A charming man knows exactly what to say to make you feel safe, wanted, and emotionally connected. He says things like, "I'll always be here for you. You mean everything to me," or "I see a future with you." And for a while, those words feel comforting. They create hope inside your heart. But eventually, reality starts exposing the truth. Because no matter how sweet the words are, actions always reveal intention. Anybody can talk. Talking is easy. Promises cost nothing when there's no accountability attached to them. A man can sit on the phone for hours making you feel like the center of his universe, but the real test begins after the conversation ends. Does he actually follow through? Does he keep his promises? Does he treat you with consistency when there's no emotional moment happening? Because real love is not proven through speeches. It is proven through behavior repeated over time. A man who truly loves you does not constantly leave you confused about where you stand. His actions provide reassurance naturally. If he says he cares about you, you'll see effort. If he says he respects you, you'll feel consideration. If he says he wants a future with you, his choices will begin aligning with that future. Love is not just something you hear, it's something you experience daily through small, consistent actions. But fake love depends heavily on words because words create emotional control. Some men know exactly how to keep someone emotionally attached without actually investing genuine effort. They become experts at saying the right thing after disappointing you. After ignoring you all day, suddenly they send a long emotional paragraph. After breaking a promise, they apologize with dramatic words, but repeat the same behavior the next week. That cycle becomes exhausting because you keep falling in love with potential instead of reality. And here's the dangerous part. People often become addicted to the promises rather than paying attention to the patterns. They focus on who he says he wants to become instead of accepting who he consistently shows himself to be. If a man repeatedly tells you he values you but continues disrespecting your feelings, his actions are the truth. If he says he loves you but never prioritizes your emotional needs, his behavior is the truth. Love without effort is just conversation. A relationship cannot survive on words alone. You cannot build trust from empty promises. Imagine somebody constantly telling you they'll catch you every time you fall, but whenever you actually fall, they disappear. After a while, those promises become meaningless. That's exactly what happens when actions fail to support words. The emotional disappointment becomes heavier because every promise creates expectation, and every broken promise creates emotional damage. Real love is visible in ordinary moments. It shows up in reliability. It shows up when someone remembers the little things that matter to you. It shows up when they protect your feelings instead of constantly apologizing for hurting them. Genuine love creates emotional safety because the person's behavior matches their language. There's honesty in their consistency. Fake love, on the other hand, survives through performance. It survives through emotional speeches, temporary effort, and just enough affection to keep you from walking away. One day they act deeply committed, and the next day their actions make you feel invisible. That inconsistency forces you into emotional confusion, and confusion is often the biggest sign something is wrong. You should never have to constantly translate someone's behavior to convince yourself they care. If someone truly values you, you won't need endless excuses to explain why they keep failing you. Their effort will speak before their mouth does. Because at the end of the day, words can comfort you temporarily, but actions reveal whether the love is real or only being performed. One of the most painful signs that a man is faking love is when he disappears the moment you need emotional support. Now pay attention to this carefully because anybody can stand beside you when life is easy. Anybody can laugh with you during good times, enjoy your energy, celebrate your success, and share exciting moments. But real love reveals itself during difficult seasons. Real love becomes visible when stress enters the relationship, when emotions become heavy, and when life stops being convenient. That's where truth begins to separate itself from performance. A man who genuinely loves you does not vanish every time your heart needs comfort. He does not suddenly become unavailable whenever you're struggling emotionally. Love is not only about enjoying someone's smile, it's also about standing beside them during their tears. If someone only wants the happy version of you but disappears when you feel broken, overwhelmed, anxious, or emotionally exhausted, then they are attached to comfort, not committed to your heart. Many people ignore this sign because they keep making excuses for the person they love. They say things like, he's just busy, he doesn't know how to express emotions, or maybe he's dealing with his own problems. And yes, everyone has difficult days. Everyone needs space sometimes. But there's a difference between someone needing temporary space and someone consistently abandoning you emotionally whenever life becomes serious. Patterns matter more than occasional moments. When a person truly cares about you, your pain matters to them. They may not always have perfect answers, but they make an effort to be present. Sometimes emotional support is not about fixing every problem. Sometimes it's simply about staying, listening, reassuring, showing concern. A loving partner understands that relationships are not only built through romance and excitement, they are strengthened through emotional presence during difficult times. But fake love avoids emotional responsibility. A man who is pretending often enjoys the benefits of being loved without wanting the responsibility that comes with loving someone deeply. He enjoys your attention, your affection, your support, your loyalty, and your emotional energy. But when your needs become heavy, he slowly pulls away. Suddenly, he stops responding consistently. His energy changes. Conversations become shorter. Your emotions begin to feel like a burden to him instead of something he wants to help carry. And that emotional absence creates loneliness inside the relationship. Imagine being emotionally connected to someone but still feeling alone every time you struggle. That kind of pain is difficult because you're physically attached to someone who is emotionally unavailable. You start feeling guilty for expressing your feelings. You begin apologizing for needing reassurance. You become afraid to share your sadness because every vulnerable moment feels like it pushes him further away. That is not healthy love. Love should never make you feel emotionally abandoned. A person who truly values you wants to understand your pain, not escape from it. They do not disappear every time life becomes uncomfortable. In fact, difficult moments often deepen real connections because two people learn how to support each other honestly. Some men only enjoy relationships when everything feels light, exciting, and easy. The moment emotional depth is required, they retreat because they were never prepared to love beyond surface-level pleasure. Real love requires emotional maturity. It requires patience. It requires empathy. And not everybody is capable of providing that consistently. The dangerous thing about emotional neglect is that it slowly damages your self-worth. After being unsupported for long enough, you begin believing your emotions are too much. You start shrinking your feelings to avoid being ignored. You become emotionally independent not because you want to be, but because you learn you cannot rely on the person beside you. That survival mode may protect you temporarily, but it also creates emotional distance and exhaustion. A loving relationship should feel like a safe place during hard times, not another source of pain. If someone truly loves you, they will not only stand beside you when you are smiling and strong, they will also stay when you are hurting, uncertain, emotional, and vulnerable. Because real love does not run from pain. Real love stays present through it. One of the strongest signs a man is faking love is when he constantly avoids commitment and future plans. Now understand this clearly. When a man truly sees value in a woman and genuinely wants her in his life, he naturally thinks about the future. He wants stability, growth, and direction. You won't have to force every conversation about where the relationship is going because serious intentions create clear actions. But when a man keeps everything uncertain, avoids important conversations, or becomes uncomfortable whenever commitment is mentioned, the hesitation often reveals more than his words ever will. Some men enjoy the comfort of having someone emotionally available without wanting the responsibility that comes with a real relationship. They want the affection, the loyalty, the attention, and the emotional support, but they avoid giving clarity because clarity requires accountability. So instead, they keep things vague. They say things like, let's just see where it goes, or I'm not ready right now, while continuing to enjoy all the benefits of your presence. And the painful part is that many people wait for potential instead of accepting reality. They convince themselves that eventually he'll change, eventually he'll become serious, eventually he'll stop avoiding the future. But love should not feel like waiting endlessly for someone to decide your worth. A man who truly wants you does not fear building with you. He does not avoid discussing goals, commitment, or long-term plans because you become part of his vision naturally. Fake love keeps you emotionally attached while keeping the relationship undefined. It creates hope without direction, affection without security, and connection without commitment. Over time, that uncertainty becomes emotionally exhausting because deep down your heart is searching for reassurance while his actions continue creating confusion. One of the clearest signs a man is faking love is when he constantly keeps you confused instead of making you feel secure. Real love brings peace into your life. It gives reassurance, stability, and emotional safety. You should not have to wake up every day wondering how someone feels about you. But when a man's behavior keeps changing, when his energy becomes unpredictable, and when his words and actions never fully match, confusion slowly takes over the relationship. And the truth is, confusion is often a warning sign that something is not genuine. A man who truly loves you does not enjoy making you question your place in his life. He communicates clearly. He makes effort consistently. He does not disappear for days and return acting like nothing happened. He does not leave you emotionally starving while expecting your loyalty at the same time. Real love may not be perfect, but it is emotionally honest. You should feel secure in someone's presence, not emotionally exhausted trying to figure them out. Fake love creates emotional instability because it depends on mixed signals. One day he gives you attention, affection, and deep conversations, making you feel important. The next day he becomes cold, distant, or unavailable without explanation. That emotional inconsistency creates anxiety because you keep chasing the return of the version of him that once made you feel special. And many people mistake that emotional roller coaster for passion, when in reality, it is emotional confusion. The painful part is that constant confusion slowly damages your confidence. You begin overanalyzing messages, questioning your worth, and blaming yourself for problems you didn't create. You become emotionally tired because your mind is always searching for reassurance that should already exist naturally in a healthy relationship. A loving partner does not leave you in darkness about their intentions. They do not make you compete for attention or beg for clarity. Real love creates emotional comfort because the person's actions consistently match their feelings. When someone genuinely cares about you, you won't spend every day trying to decode their behavior. Their effort, honesty, and consistency will speak clearly on their own. One of the biggest signs a man is faking love is when he constantly gives excuses instead of effort. Now, everybody faces challenges in life. People get busy, stressed, and overwhelmed sometimes. But there is a major difference between someone who is genuinely struggling and someone who repeatedly uses excuses to avoid showing real commitment. A man who truly loves you will find ways to make effort even during difficult seasons. But a man who is pretending will always have a reason why he cannot give you the time, attention, consistency, or care you deserve. At first, the excuses may sound believable. He says he's busy with work, dealing with pressure, trying to figure himself out, or going through a difficult time emotionally. And because you care about him, you become understanding. You give him patience. You make room for his situation. But after a while, you start noticing something important. The excuses never end, but the effort never changes either. The promises remain empty, and the relationship stays emotionally one-sided. A person's priorities are revealed through their actions. People make time for what truly matters to them. If a man can spend hours on his phone, make time for friends, hobbies, entertainment, or personal goals, but consistently fails to invest meaningful effort into the relationship, that tells you everything you need to know. Love is not measured only by words or emotions. It is measured by consistent action. Fake love survives on potential and apologies. Every time you feel disappointed, he gives another explanation. Every time you feel neglected, he promises improvement. But genuine love does not constantly require excuses to explain bad behavior. Real love creates effort naturally because the person values your emotional well-being. The dangerous thing about accepting endless excuses is that you slowly begin lowering your standards. You start convincing yourself that asking for consistency is too much. You become grateful for bare minimum effort because disappointment has become normal. But healthy love should never make you feel like basic care is a special reward. A man who truly loves you will not repeatedly explain why he cannot show up for you. He will simply show up. His effort will speak louder than his excuses ever could.